easy. 80%. Hi everyone! One of the challenges that I will face in Lombok is the hilly bike course. This is gonna be my first 70.3 on a hilly course, and as a super beginner, I do not have much experience on bike. I'm quite comfortable in riding 90 km at stable pace, and I have an idea on how many watts pushing during the bike splits. But the presence of the hills might mess up with my planned strategy because I do not have a good control of pacing and rhythm on climbs. I have this tendency to push on pedals like crazy since the very beginning of the climb, with the result to feel completely drained after a few kilometers. What I'm training for this race is being more comfortable and in control when riding close to my max FTP level. Quickly define and adapt the effort on climbs accordingly to the race strategy and the climb's difficulty. Be more in control when climbing out of the saddle. If I want to qualify for next year's World Championship, I need to attack on the hills and not just survive. So I took this opportunity of an unexpected trip back to my hometown in Italy to train this strategy on local climbs. Actually, we have some really fun, short but intense climbs on the Torino hills, like Superga from Sassi, and the terrible Inferno climb in Pecetto, a short but steep climb, average 10%, with a section going over 20%. But the real challenge lies just a few kilometers away, in the mythical Alps mountains. So Alps are the natural borders between northern side of Italy and the other near countries. Arriving at Milan airport is the best solution in order to reach every side of the Alps. This first part of the episode 1 video has been filmed in Bormio, a beautiful mountain city just 200 km north of Milan. Bormio is located in the high part of the Valtellina Valley, and it's one of the best places in Italy to train in the mountains and give you the possibility to create some amazing loop itineraries covering the most iconic mountain climbs and passes of the Italian Alps. For these training days in high mountains, I've mounted a 1132 cassette, but honestly a 1134 would have made these climbs much more easier. For the very first day, I went straight to the target. I was planning to climb the dreadful Mortirolo Pass, ranked number 2 in terms of difficulty in Italy, and the legendary Gavia Pass in the same day, a classic Giro d'Italia stage. The Mortirolo is considered the toughest mountain one can climb in Italy. Lance Armstrong called it the most difficult climb he had ever ridden. You can climb the Mortirolo in 3 different ways. I started from Mazzo di Valtellina, the most difficult way. The easy first and the last part of the climb are continuously at 10%. In between you have to overcome 6 km, an average of 13%, with strips up to 18%. Once in Mazzo di Valtellina, starting from Via Orti near the church, you reach the Strada del Mortirolo. Immediately you can get an impression on what awaits you for the next hour and a half, considering that the average climbing time on Mortirolo is 1 hour and 35 minutes. A narrow steep road between the trees with hairpin bands. There are no less than 30 tornante, which means hairpin bands, waiting for you. climb is getting harder and harder. Once in a while you get a glimpse of the valley. Near the Casa dell'Acqua, the climb even opens completely, and you can see the difference in height that you already conquered. After a left-right hairpin combination, you reach Tornante 11, where in front of you hangs the statue of Marco Pantani on the fence wall. Unfortunately, I was in so much pain that I noticed it too late, and I didn't have time to turn on the GoPro. Shame on me. A bit further on, at 100-600 meters, in the meantime you will reach the Strada Provinciale 81 from Grosio. From here, it's another 3 kilometers to the top, and the toughest one is now conquered. Since you already got that far, the rest of the climb seems like a piece of cake. First you stay between the trees. But toward the top, the climb becomes more open. The summit of the climb is not very meaningful. After such a climb you expect a bit more, but these places are perfectly kept as natural as possible. The exact location of the summit is a bit unclear because there are no less than 3 indications. So keep an eye on your Strava when you want to set a time. The Gavia is a wild, stunning and remote climb in the Italian Alps, and is best known for the 1988 Giro stage in the snow, an epic stage of the Giro d'Italia, and that's why it's considered one of the classic courses in Italy. If you are coming from Mortirolo, there is a long fast flat just to get to this point. The start of the climb is in Ponte di Legno, a ski resort town. It's fairly easy and is a good way to get the legs spinning before the harder stuff ahead. Very soon the easy part is over and the meat of the climb begins with a section of 10 hairpins in 5 km. This section can be quite dark in the forest, surrounded by tall trees and often with a big wall on one side of you. This hairpin section is not easy, especially after the Mortirolo, with gradients ranging from 7 to 12%. Mostly the corners are flat and sharp, but the straights can be very rampy. Halfway through this part, you get out of the tree line at around 1,800 meters and into a wider landscape with snow-capped mountains visible most of the year. The elevation change in the climb is massive, so expect very different conditions at the bottom and the top of the climb. The road also changes from a modern 2-lane to an old mountain pass, barely wide enough for a car to pass. This is what the Gavia is all about. It's an old-school, rugged and absolutely beautiful climb. Gavia, in my opinion, it's a very challenging climb, often underestimated in the most popular climbs bucket list. I think because it's often done after the Mortirolo climb, as in this loop. So after the Mortirolo climb, everything seems easier. There is not much left off from the steep gradient in the last 6 km. The road surface is mostly very good for the next 3 km as the road heads straight up towards the summit. With just over 3 kilometers to go, at around 2,300 meters, you hit the dark tunnel. This is a steep at 9% and goes on for around 500 meters. It has no lights, so it's very, very dark, with the exit round a left turn, so you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, until you turn that corner. You will be in the tunnel for 2-4 minutes, and it can be very disorienting. Bring a good front light so you can have some idea of what is ahead of you and a good backlight for the peace of mind. Your reward for getting through the tunnel is a stunning but steep last 2.5 kilometers, passing a beautiful lake. Meter altitude, 1.4 kilometer to the top, 10% average. It's beautiful. I'm tired. tired but happy. Eventually you see buildings for the first time in the climb, and ahead of you is the summit at 2,621 meters. For the second day, I went for a beautiful but very demanding loop to conquer both sides of the Passo dello climb, one of the most photographed roads in the cycling world. If you are staying in Bormio, Passo dello climb is right on your doorstep, as it rears up practically from the town center. Reaching Passo dello from Bormio is the easier, less famous way to do it, because the side from Prato allo Stelvio is the classic one. So I went from this loop with a brief but beautiful excursion in Swiss. The climb starts at around 1,200 meters, has a 7% average gradient and hits you immediately, so don't expect an easy warm-up. The road is then pretty straight as you climb above Bormio, with views along the Braulio Valley. You hit a couple of short switchback sections at the 6 kilometer mark between 6 and 9. Prepare yourself for the tunnels that take you through the mountainside. There are also traffic lights inside the tunnels, and you may find the road is damp. As usual, make sure you have got lights on your bike. Once out of the tunnels, the road rises steeply. It's around 13% to the next hurdle. A spectacular step ladder of 14 switchbacks next to the Braulio waterfall. view is spectacular as you pass Casa Cantoniera building, where the road workers who built this road used to live. At the top of the ladder, you leave the narrow valley you have been climbing all this time and pass over into the stunning plateau Pian del Grembo. This road passed through alpine meadows. On the way you will see the World War I monument, which marks the point at which you've got 5.5 kilometers to go. This is the easiest part of the climb. At this point, if you take your eyes from the road, you can glimpse the buildings at the top of the pass, the end point of the Stelvio climb from Bormio. But for this loop I choose to turn left for the Umbrail Pass descent to Swiss, in order to reach the South Tyrol region via Santa Maria in Swiss and complete the climb to Stelvio from the most difficult side in Prato allo Stelvio. The descent to Santa Maria is through the spectacular Umbrail Pass. This is a climb that I want to do in my next training camp. Once in Santa Maria, you turn right in order to pass the Swiss-Italy border and reach Prato allo Stelvio through a flat section in South Tyrol. Cycling Passo dello Stelvio from Prato is the side that most steeped in Giro d'Italia history. It's a beast of a climb, 25 km of 8% average gradients with over 1,800 meters of vertical ascent. The first 10 kilometers are the easiest of the entire climb, with gradients averaging around 5 to 6%. There are few hairpins before trafoi, but not very difficult. Honestly, already before trafoi, after completed the first 10 km of the climb, I was already tired. I'm intimidated by the remaining 1,000 plus of vertical gains remains to be climbed in the next 15 km. After trafoi, all the 48 bends lie above you, on gradients that become increasingly challenging. The average gradient for the remaining climb sits just above 8%. With around 10 kilometers to go, approaching 2,000 meters above the sea level, you break the tree line, and here it's where the climb starts to become mythical. Legs are burning and lungs are gasping for air, but the view, it's worth the pain.
5 kilometers. I don't know. I mean, I'm completely exhausted. This is gonna be like pure mental stuff. I don't have nothing left. And I'm not stopping just because I see the top. And because the people in front of me, they are not stopping. But like every 100 meters, I just want to stop. I'm counting the meters left to the top.
At around 16 kilometers, the road hits 10% for a painful kilometer. This final part of the climb will test you to the max, feeling the effects of the reduced oxygen in the air. The final hairpins are super tight and cruelly steep. at just under 10% for the final kilometer. As soon as you see the summit sign, a sort of relief starts to kick in. There's an overwhelming sense of achievement when you reach the top, having conquered those seriously hard, iconic 48 hairpins. So this morning we have passed to the Umbrail, which is that red house on the back. And this is the junction between the Umbrail Pass and the Stelvio Pass. Now we're going to descend on the same side that we did this morning, but just the opposite way. On the third day, my legs were destroyed. The idea was to take an easy final day in order to visit two of the natural gyms that are in Bormio. What makes Bormio perfect for a week of training camp is the presence of this natural gym around. Perfect location to train in a very technical way on how to tackle challenging climbs with hairpin. Both of these climbs are short, intense and very technical, starting directly from the town center. This should have been a relaxing morning with my wife and an electric bike, but actually the climb is not really simple, and I found my wife waiting for me at every bend, teasing me while she was climbing easily with the electric bike. There is a series of very useful writings on the asphalt that allow everyone to eventually plan a very technical training for VO2 max, climbing agility and endurance. The climb to the Cancano Lakes passes through a spectacular landscape with a series of hairpin bends that climbs up on the side of the mountain. These are real natural gyms that from April to September are assiduously frequented by professionals and teams who organize in Bormio day training camps. The climb is very suggestive with a very regular slope, so it can be done several times a day thanks to a fast and very technical descent through a series of very fast hairpin bends. Not totally satisfied of my day, I decided to also try the climb to Bormio 2000, another natural gym starting from Bormio. This climb is in fact a normal and well-maintained road that climbs up to the side of the famous Olympic ski slope of the Stelvio, used many times in the World Ski Championships. This is also a very technical and regular climb, even if a little less spectacular than the climb to the Cancano Lakes, as it passes through a majestic wood that leads to the ski lift at 2000 meters. The only very difficult part is a very steep section of about 800 meters, constant at 40%. Really very demanding, as it is strategically placed at the halfway point. The descent to Bormio should have marked the end of my short training camp, when I noticed a detail in the road signs. The city of Bormio has a partnership with the Alps, the famous town in France where the same mythical climb of the Tour de France is located. So while driving on the way back to my hometown, I started to planning a short extension of my training camp in the enemy territory, France. An extension that allowed me to reach some of the most famous climbs of the Tour de France. Alpe d'Huez, the Col de la Croix, and the beautiful Col du Galibier. But all this I will show in part 2 of the video that I will publish in a few days.